Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Spencer Arms YouTube channel. We are back up at the house simply because I'm doing these dark beers, these nice sort of stouts. Well, when I say nice, there's been a couple that I've already videoed that I'm going to see if I bring out or not. It just depends because they were quite poor, and I ought to show you a little bit of a poor beer as well. But I'm up here because I am by the fire once again. It is roaring behind me. It's really, really nice. I do apologise about the purple chimney breast. That will be going. Not that it really concerns you too much. You're here for a beer chat. But guess what I've got just popping its wings over here and flying over here. It's come from afar. It has come from afar. We have the Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. Now, believe it or not, and there's a few people going to tell me off, but we actually got the Christmas decorations down today, and what is the date today? It's the 27th of November, but with a view to put them up. And Jenny started putting them up, and she says, you know, I'm going to have a little port. So I went, oh, if you're going to have a port, I'm going to grab myself a beer. And while you watch Strictly or whatever you're watching, I'm going to crack this bad boy open, get it into a glass, see what it's all about, because I have not had one of these before. Now, basically, a taste of Guinness, journey throughout the ages, okay? So it says here, Guinness Foreign Extra Stout is a full-flavoured beer. No doubt it is. Born of the thirst for adventure, Arthur Guinness was an explorer. He explored the senses. He explored taste. He explored texture. And, of course, he was determined to explore pastures new and far. So in the early 1800s, I'm not very good at reading, as you can see, the early 1800s, while other breweries were content to stay close to home, Guinness struck out into uncharted territories, braving the perils of the sea travel to export our distinctive beer across the globe. So it's a little bit like an IPA, isn't it? So you don't normally, now I've got a stout in the fridge, it's in the fridge to keep it fresh. I'm looking forward to reviewing it because basically hops in stouts, you know, it's not really, it's just more about the roasted malts, really, isn't it? And probably the hops might give it some bitterness. You know, like a porter is more about the malted barley, but stouts are more roasted. I don't think stouts are made with malted barley. You might get some that have a bit in there. But hops, lots of hops to keep it fresh while it travels. It's more like what IPAs do, don't they? So, brewed with extra hops to preserve the beer in the ship's hold during voyages of 4 to 5 weeks. So here we are, and I'm back on Wednesday night. I'm about to do another one of the Guinness beers. But before I do, I just want to finish editing this, and I wanted to just jump in because straight away I'm sort of like talking about what may be in this or not. Now, it's obvious now I've thought about it. When you're doing it on the fly, you just say things. But it's obviously now thought about it. The hops have got to be there for the bitterness. They're helping with the bitterness, but also the roasted malts and different roasted bars and things can sort of add to that. Like sometimes the coffee taste can be a bit astringent, can't it? So that's what I'm sort of meaning. I get a little bit anal about trying to get things right. But in this particular beer, they have got roasted malt and roasted barley. But they talk about a 2-row barley. I've just done a little bit of researching, and I found a really informative video on YouTube, and I will put the link in there. And it's a master brewer, a lady, talking about all things stout. They do just stouts. It was really informative, so I'm going to let them describe, because when it comes to stouts and imperial stouts, porters and different things, there's so many different ways and rounds or whatever. And we don't brew beer, do we? We taste beer. So basically I was thinking to myself, well, stouts are mostly roasted malts. So how are you getting the sugars out of a roasted malt that's not been germinated, not so much roasted barley? So, because malt is when it's been germinated, isn't it? So you get all confused. So how do you get the sugars out of a roasted barley? Because it needs to germinate. But then there's this 2-row barley. But then you look on Guinness's website, which I think has been updated and improved. I've never seen it like that before, or I've never looked. But they've said it's got roasted malt and roasted barley in. So, there's so many different ways round of getting things. Stouts doing 2-row barley, or I heard of 6-row barley, just as a base malt. to get suck the sugars out of it, to get the alcohol there, and then you start adding all the darker malts, the chocolate malts, the roasted malts and things like that to get different coffee flavours, or chocolate or caramel or toffee, or even fruity stuff that could come from the hops as well. So yeah, you know, it's a big mindful, but I just wanted to come on to just say, I'm watching it back this morning when I was editing it, thinking, or when I was getting it out, thinking, I was criticising myself. What do you mean the hops might give some bitterness? Well, they do give bitterness, and what about this and that? So anyway, I just wanted to jump in and just say sorry if I was just talking waffle. Anyway, back to the video, but please check out if you're interested in the stouts, check out I'll put the link in. It's a really interesting video, and I've only watched about 10 minutes of it, and I can't wait to watch the rest. So anyway, back to the video. Waffling on. Hashtag Spenno Waffle. In tropical climates, the recipe yielded a powerful drink with a bold character. But essentially, you know, it's a Guinness, isn't it, as well? Originally known as West Indian Porter. Now, the funny thing is, I've got this Foreign Extra Stout, but I'm aware that there's one called the West Indian Porter. So, excuse me, still got a funny cough. So again, jumping in, it was originally called the West India Porter because its first destination out of Dublin was to the West Indies. But then as sort of like demand got more, and it went obviously further afield, it was then renamed the Foreign Extra Stout, as we know it today. But there is also a West Indies Porter, which does a lot of travelling as well, which is coming next. But anyway, I got some information today actually from Steve at Guinness, and basically said the recipe for this beer has changed a bit over the years, but like it says on the website as well, but its soul remains the same. I know, just butting in again, a little bit of shit beer fact really. So known as West Indian Porter, Guinness Foreign Extra Stout has evolved throughout the ages, but its soul has stayed the same. Right? Pack your bags, wet your lips, and let's dive in. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. And it's a big bottle. This is, oh, I can smell that. Christ, this is a 600ml bottle. So I've played a blinder here. I've got this from Home Bargains. Now, the only reason we went in Home Bargains is because we were out and about up St George's Retail Park in Leicester. And we said, oh, we'll just nip into Home Bargains. Jenny wanted this cream, or something like a condensed milk cream, something for a recipe. And in Home Bargains, I thought I'd have a look at the beer, because I know that they do some beer. And here was this 600ml bottle of Foreign Extra Stout at 7.5%, looking at me, going, drink me, take me, review me. You've been asked. I'm sure I've been asked to do this. Wow, I can smell the alcohol in that. And at 7.5%, I can't believe how much of an alcohol punch that's just given me. Now, I'm not too worried about the light in here. So if it seems a little dark, it doesn't really matter, because I'm not showing you a golden beer, am I? I'm not showing you a golden ale or an amber ale. It's a black beer. It's a black Guinness with a very tanned head. Now, Guinness, normally, really, if you pour Guinness correctly, you should have more of a white head if you poured it correctly, as my understanding. I've just turned this round. I didn't realise this. Bloody hell, I've had this glass for a long while. I didn't realise it got Guinness on both sides. I thought I had the Guinness the wrong way round. So anyway, just doing a traditional swirl. I don't know why. But yeah, what a punch this is packing. Now, I really, really enjoyed the review I've just done on the Guinness Stout. Dark and lively, I think it says on the bottle, and it was like, I didn't read that, it was really lively, but this is like Guinness on steroids. I can smell it. It absolutely is smelling proper boozy. So oh dear, do you know what, I've just been playing the guitar and having a little sing to see how my voice goes, and yeah, it's not average. Anyway, let's get the nose into this. Wow. Oh, that is so boozy. That's so nice. Oh, could this be the start of something new for me? Could this be the start of, like, instead of having the smashable Guinness, the draft nitrosurge Guinness, is this going to be me like having a nice strong Guinness. Well, yeah, you can get some hops in there. What hops are in here, I do not know. But there is actually that dark, like a dark fruit. I can smell a dark fruit in there, which is like, you know, something you wouldn't really, well, I wouldn't expect to smell in a full-on roasted stout. Well, anyway, I'm going to get into this. Cheers, everybody. Did I remember Slaunche? Slaunche. Oh, is that cheers in Ireland? I hope so. Cheers. I'm probably not going to, if that's just cut to an advert, I'm sorry. I'm not going to bollop this down me. It's going to be steady. Whoa. Crikey, that's taken me by surprise because that definitely has a hop profile with it. If my eyes were closed and I was drinking that, oh, that's fruity. That's almost, oh, sorry, I've got to keep the eyes closed for a minute. That's almost Christmas cakey. Oh, I like that. The only thing I do miss a little bit. The only thing I do miss a little bit is the mouthfeel. It's got a lovely mouthfeel, don't get me wrong. It's got a really, really nice, real nice level of carbonation as well. Really, really nice level of carbonation. It's froths up in the mouth, lovely. It has got a silky mouth smooth. But I've just bought that. I've got it on order. It's coming now. That is it. The physics machine. Oh, pop that in there because that gives it that little bit of almost like a nitrosurge. I reckon that just push a little bit of that in it. Aggravate that a little bit, other than a poor aggravation. Put a bit of like creamy mouthfeel into it, and I think that would be the icing on the cake. Now that's got all the. That's quite bitter as well, really nice and dry, but it's got that real sort of balance of sweetness from the hops. I'm sure it's got a bit of fruitiness, like from what must be the hops. It must be. Considering how boozy it smelt, it doesn't really taste as boozy as what the aromas led me to believe it was going to taste like. I thought it was going to be a little bit overpowering in the alcohol, which I really wouldn't want. I really wouldn't want that. I really want to be able to experience the flavours without thinking I'm drinking just, you know, a Guinness vodka or something, or just a high-powered alcohol beer. There's nothing worse than having. There's nothing better than having a beer that's high in alcohol, but it's full of flavour as well. And when you've drank it, you feel like you've had some proper beer medicine, you know. Yeah, this is a bit medicine-y as well. Yeah, that's probably where that's just come from. Like a little bit of Benylin. Certainly making me feel better anyway. Oh. Real dark, some nice dark fruits in there. Whoa, this is, blimey, this is a good one. So let's have a little read. There is some notes on the bottle. Let's have a look. So here we go again. So brewed to travel the world with more hops for a bold, intense, rich flavour. Yep, absolutely rich flavour. Intense, I wouldn't say it was really intense. It's not like going, oh God, I mean, intense for me would make me feel like it's probably a little bit overpowered. It's sort of probably a word probably not to use on a beer, I would have thought, because nothing wants to be too intense in any of the flavours, does it really? Intense, rich flavour. It is a rich flavour. It really is. It is a rich flavour. I'm getting the coffee smell from the on the nose now. Now my taste buds and my senses are all working together. My eyes, my nose, my mouth. Yeah, get some coffee again, a little bit of chocolate. Quite a bit of chocolate now. In fact, that's probably the most chocolate I've ever smelt in a Guinness ever. That's a really nice dark chocolate now. That's really lovely. Oh, that's almost like a... Oh, I just want to smell that for a bit longer. Now, once you cotton onto a smell, an aroma, it is lovely. And I really like the fact that all the roastedness is still cutting through any of the hops that they've put in here. Now, I mean, to get like, also as well, thinking about it, to get like a 7.5% out of this, then... crikey, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've got to have some sort of malted barley in there, surely, to get some sugars out of it. Because normally, probably one of the reasons why, you know, some of these stouts are quite low ABV. But yeah, that's interesting. I've never really thought about that because, you know, like you say, this is like swinging on that porter, because they always say, you know, what's the difference between a porter and a stout? You know, what is there? A friend of mine has been talking recently, and he's just finally got him to try a stout. Well, I ain't got him to try a stout. He did it off his own bat, but he tried it the other day. He said, I really like that. I like the dryness, I like the bitterness about it. And he says, like, and then he tried a porter, and it was a bit sweet. And I sort of said to him, well, yeah, the difference between a porter and a stout, a lot of people say a stout's more dry, a porter's more sweet, but it's only because stouts are more roasted barley, and porters are more malted sort of barley. You use malted barley in porters and roasted barley in stouts. But it must open up. It must open up the ability for the sugars to be drawn out. That's one to like pop in the comments, because I like it. Sometimes I get comments that are really educational for me. You know, it's okay for me talking to you as a bit of a, you know, a chat about the beer and what I think about it, and introducing it to you. But technically, you know, it's like I play the guitar. My guitar's right just there. I play the guitar, but I don't know how it's made. Do you know what I mean? But I know it sounds good, and I know what makes it sound good. But yeah, so an intense, rich flavour. This is a Guinness with adventure in its soul. It says serve chilled and drink in the beauty of Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. Contains barley. Drink responsibly. Well, I always drink responsibly because I always make sure I've got a nice steady, something firm to put it on so I don't spill it. You know, I'm away from the laptop, so if it does spill, it won't go over it. I've used a suitable, you know, table to do it on. So yeah, I'm drinking responsibly. So what more can we say about this? If this was received over in foreign land, I would imagine when they cracked that open, they would have drank that with a big smile on the face. It's a little bit like an imperial stout, isn't it? A Russian imperial stout used to go over to Russia, and it used to be strong to sort of like manage to well, no, it weren't for travelling purposes, was it? It was just they like strong stuff. So it was brewed strong because they like strong drinks. Whereas this has been brewed to travel and to last. And I think I read, see, this is just a little bit of text I've got in front of me here, but I'm sure it was like sort of last 5 or 6 weeks, I think I read. That's a long time, isn't it, for a travelling beer? So if this beer ended up sort of like the other side of the world still tasting as good as this, then you got to be happy. I don't think I've actually seen this on any beer before. This is the first time I've seen this, I think. That says, so I'm using a laptop. I've not done this before, so I don't know what the quality is going to be like. It's not the best to zoom in. That says 18 plus. So it's saying like, obviously you've got to be like 18 years or older to drink this beer. Yeah, I can sort of see why, especially with the 600 milliliter one on a Monday night. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. So let's just recap on this. Lovely and chocolatey now on the nose. That's really, really warms me. When I get chocolate flavours, it's a little bit when I get caramel and toffee flavours. It's all my flavours like caramel, toffee, coffee, and chocolate. Oh, good God. Just put all them ingredients in front of me. There's some caramel, some toffee, some chocolate, and a coffee. Oh, yeah. You're just talking like the best flavours ever. The more you get down this, the more the flavours come. This is why these beers need to be savoured. And this isn't a smashable Guinness by any means. Literally, I went out a few Fridays ago to a gig at the Old Horse in Leicester, and it was fantastic. And there was a big array of beers to try. And Everard's, as you know, from what you've seen from me, they're doing loads of small batch stuff. You got loads of beers to try, and I thought, oh crikey, I love the old original, but it's at 5.2%. It's not really a going out beer. And you know what? I ended up on the Guinness, and I could have 8, 9, 10 pints of that, and yeah, I'll be staggering through the door. But what I mean is, you can drink it as a drink the way you're not conscious about how it's affecting you. You know, it's only 4.1%. It's not going to be knocking you out at the end of the night. It's going to be getting you tipsy, of course it is, but you're going to be needing. I'm a fast drinker, so I don't want to. If I start getting on this strong beers, 4 beers, then you might as well take me home. So this is one to be sat in front of your fire, and just enjoying it and taking in the alcohol warmth. I mean, this is. I've had. You'll see them. Hopefully, I'll put them out there. But I've had a couple of winter beers, you know, because we're getting into the real winter month, and they've been such a disappointment. Really were. I sat in front of this fire and I recorded myself doing it, and I really wanted to enjoy it. And they're just both. Well, one of them I done down the cabin, and the other one I done up here. But it specifically said on the bottle to be enjoyed in front of a fire. And it was just so disappointing. It was tearfully disappointing because everything about it was fantastic. But you know what? I'm actually really, really loving this in front of the fire. And I could just imagine sat here now, roaring that fire up, some nice music in the background, chilled out music, having a conversation around this table, really enjoying this beer. It is sort of like, it's a posh Guinness, isn't it? It's very complex. But if you just set your mind, what I love about these beers is when the flavours are there and you can't really separate them because they're so well blended together, and yeah, it doesn't even say what hops they're using in this. I wonder what hops they're using this. It's probably like because I'm getting a sweetness, probably like your what is it, your Goldings or something like that. Yeah, I need to find. In fact, I'll probably ask Steve, who is the he's the man at Guinness. What hops they're using this? It'd be very interesting to know. But they're definitely a hop. It's going to be like a bittering hop, but it's going to be like, I don't think it's going to be a hop that's going to give much flavour, because I don't think they really want to take away the roastedness and the chocolate and the coffee away from this beer. So I wouldn't have thought they'd put any hops that are going to give any real. It's just going to be bittering hops and yeah, just hops that are not really going to shine through. But there is some there is some fruitiness coming out of there, but it's more of a sweet sort of honey type, you know, natural sweetness. So yes, I'm thinking Goldings probably, but who knows? Who knows? Very interesting. But yeah, so I'm not gonna. I'm not going to waffle on anymore in this video because I don't want to be speaking to you for the next the next 10 minutes while I drink that. But just, it's not in the 10 out of 10 club because I'm not just handing that out willy-nilly. Because, you know, I'll always go and buy cans of Guinness to smash and drink, but this is a treat. This is one I'm definitely going to be having again. In fact, like, I think I'll be going back to Home Bargains and getting a few. I could just imagine drinking 4 of these in front of the fire, listening to some like Pink Floyd or something like that. Dark Side of the Moon. Your Dark Side of the Moon with a dark beer in front of the fire with the lights low, and just slowly getting mellow and drunk until you just fall asleep, you know. Absolutely fantastic. So anyway, this is going out to somebody because there is somebody who's commented quite a bit and asked me that they want me to do these beers. So I'm going to dig out the name of the person who asked me that, and I would have liked to have mentioned him here, but I'm using my iPhone for the mic, so I can't even look who it is. But I will in the description mention the person who's asked me for this, and that anyway, it's for you, my friend. As soon as I seen it, I thought, oh, there's that guy who asked me about it, so I wanted to do it. So yep. So cheers everybody. Slaunche, if that's the word. Keep drinking the. Look at that. The glass is almost clear though. I mean, my God, it's like being washed down the side there. There's absolutely no lacing whatsoever. Maybe it's time to regenerate these glasses. You know, look at it. It's like the head retention is still there beautifully. There's no problem with that, but it's literally just slipping down. It's almost like it's giving the alcohol lacing. If you actually have a look, you can see it is lacing on there, but more in like as if you had a whiskey or a brandy or something. Not really a beer head. I mean, these strong stouts don't really end up with much head, do they? But the head retention is good, so I'm sure the glass is nice and clean. Cheers, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. It's been one of the more chilled out Spenno things. Personality's not really been like jumping around the place. It's been near the fire. Bit of a candle going. It is a bit of a Christmas candle, but don't tell anybody because like I might get like pulled for it because it's not December yet, and we don't put decorations up till December unless you're my daughter, of course, and she's had them up for about 3 weeks, bless her. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and please smash the like button, put your comments in the comment box. Sorry if I'm looking to the right or left or whatever. I'm trying to look at the green light in the middle. It's very distracting when I'm over there on the screen. And just put your comments in. Educate me if you've got anything you can educate me with. And just enjoy the week and stay safe and keep drinking this wonderful beer that we know as Guinness in various different formats. Take care, everybody. Much love, Spenno.